So you're an incredible player in training, but for whatever reason in matches, you can't replicate that same form you show in your practices. Well, in this video, I want to go over how to overcome nerves and relax more in football. That's coming up next. Hey guys, if you're new to Simply Soccer, my name is Dave, and on this channel we release weekly soccer tip, technique, and training videos just like this one. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any of the content that we release. Now, I get a lot of messages from players that tell me one of two things. The first one being that they're incredible in their training and their practices, and they dominate, or they do much better in those than they do in their matches, and why that is, which we will address in this video. And two, they just are so nervous all the time that despite when they're by themselves playing, or they know that they can do better, they don't because they're so nervous and they can't seem to relax in matches. Well, in this video, I'm going to be going over why that is, and also give you some things you can do, some practices that can help this. So the first thing we want to do is address the underlying issue of what's actually happening when you're getting nervous. Why are you getting nervous? And the first reason is usually you're overthinking. Usually when you're in a match or any kind of sport-related anything, you don't want to be thinking that much. In fact, you want to be mainly acting from instinct. If you have to think about every little thing you do, you're going to start getting into a negative spiral in your head, which is going to take you out of the moment, is going to distract you, and is going to get you to critique everything you're doing while you're doing it. And that's not good. Imagine the amount of pressure that puts you under. Now, every time you take one bad touch, you're going to get on your own case. Now, every time the ball comes to you, you're going to be nervous because you're on your own case about that last bad touch that you took. You need to be in the moment and forget about any mistakes that you've made and focus on the right here, right now. I don't care if you took a bad touch in the first minute of the game. I don't care if you gave the ball away early in the match. Yes, you don't want to be doing those things, but guess what? It's over, and beating yourself up right now is not going to help you perform better. In fact, it's going to cause you to perform worse. So you want to, when you make a mistake, bounce back almost immediately so that you don't keep making that same mistake. But getting back to the original point, a lot of this happens from overthinking. You want to find ways to plug into the game, hone in, really focus in on what you're doing, and rely on your instincts, rely on the training that you've done to come out and be used during the match. And if you're doing really well in your training, you're a great training player, then you have those instincts, you have the ability to play well. But if you think of some of your best performances as a player, were you thinking a lot during that performance? Or was there just something that drove you and you just kind of did it? And you can't really explain what happened, but you just kind of tuned into something, you were in flow, and you performed amazingly. Let me know in the comments if that's happened to you. Let me know what happened and what was going through your head. Were you thinking too much? Or were you perhaps more tuned in and in flow? The point here is overthinking is one of the biggest contributors to getting nervous and not being able to relax when you're in the match, especially if you're a player who does well in training but not matches. So make sure you identify that within yourself. Am I overthinking? Am I not, allowing myself to get into the moment here and get into flow, which we'll talk about how to do that later in this video. But just identify that within yourself first and look to see if that's what's happening to you. So you need to be in the moment and focused on the match and nothing else. Especially if you're thinking of things that aren't even related to the game, you're overthinking. You need to get out of your head and get into your body. You need to start feeling things, not thinking things when you're in the match. You need to have your senses heightened. You need to know where that player is. You need to be able to hear things better. You need to be able to be hyper aware of what's going on around you. And that's not going to happen through thinking. That's going to happen through tuning into your body, tuning into your senses, tuning into your instincts, not tuning into your mind and listening to all the chatter that's going on up there. One simple thing you can do if you're in a match and you're getting nervous and you're breathing heavy and you're just panting and you're panicking is to just take a deep breath. And this sounds so simplistic, but you'll be amazed at how quickly this can work. Now, if you're on the sidelines or there is a moment of pause in the match, there is a very simple breathing exercise you can do for like 30 seconds that's gonna help you. It's just breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and hold it for 5 seconds, and do that for as long as you need in order to relax yourself back into the match. Now, of course, you're not gonna be able to do this when the action is going on. Do this during a stoppage, do this during halftime instead of thinking of all the bad things you did in the match or whatever else. But just take a moment to take a deep breath and just relax. Calm the mind and get back into the game. Again, don't do this when you're involved in the play or things are happening, but when you get a moment to pause, just take a breath, get back into the moment. So there are 2 other things you can actually do outside of the field that are going to help you with this in the field or on the field when it comes to overthinking. The first one is meditation. Now, you might not think that meditation is going to help you become a better footballer, but that's not the case at all. Meditation is going to help you with so many things outside of football, by the way, but it's also going to help calm those thoughts going on in your head. It's going to help you to move through, beating yourself up over mistakes. And the more you do that, the more you'll be confident, the more you won't be overthinking when it's actually time for a game. So having a regular meditation practice, it can just be 20 to 30 minutes a day. Does not need to be hours long. You can do that too if you really want to amp it up, but just meditate 10 to 30 minutes every single day, and you will start to see that your mind starts to quiet more and more. The second one, and definitely another one I highly recommend, is visualization. Visualize yourself playing perfectly in your matches. Visualize yourself not overthinking in your games. Visualize essentially what you want to actually happen when you step on that pitch. I always recommend visualizing in some capacity before matches. I think it's very powerful. But again, having a regular meditation and visualization practice can be so beneficial. And there are so many studies to back this up. This is not woo-woo. If you don't think meditation and visualization can't benefit you in sports, just look at people like Michael Gervais, who is a high-performance coach, has worked with many professional franchises with their players on mentality. He uses both meditation and visualization in his practices with professional athletes at the highest level. So it works for them, it'll work for you too. The next thing I want to go over to why you're getting nervous and you're not able to relax in matches is because you don't have confidence in those situations. So what do we have to do? We have to develop your confidence, of course. So how do we do that? Now, the basic and easiest way to do this, although it might take time, but it's the most simple way to do this, is repetition, repetition, repetition. Actually practicing. If you're not well practiced, well trained in a specific thing, of course you're going to be nervous when you go to do that thing. An example I love to give is the penalty analogy. Can't speak today for some reason. And the example I give is this. You have player A and player B. Player A throughout the whole week has not practiced his penalties at all. Player B has gone after training every single day and practiced 20 of his penalties, practiced his walk-up, practiced which spot he wants to put the ball in. Now, let's say in a penalty shootout, which player do you think is more likely to score? Player A, who has not practiced it at all, has no idea what the situation entails, has never put that pressure on himself to take a penalty, hasn't struck a penalty all week? Or player B, who has struck a penalty 20 times after practice, picking his spot, gaining more and more confidence through repetition throughout the whole week? The obvious answer is player B, right? So this applies to pretty much anything. If you are not well trained in it, you're not going to be able to do it that consistently, at least. So if you're trying to take someone one-on-one, but you haven't worked on skill moves or taking players one-on-one, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be nervous. But if you've practiced beating players one-on-one, if you've done it over and over and over again, you've built it into your instincts, into your muscle memory, then you're going to be super confident going up there and taking that player one-on-one. Same with your goal scoring, same with your defending, same with your positional sense, same with your football intelligence, same with everything, right? So the simplest way to improve your confidence so you're not nervous in these situations you're getting nervous in is keep practicing those situations. So if you're nervous, identify first what makes you nervous in the match. Is it you're getting the ball and you're nervous you're going to lose it? practice that in your training over and over again, your individual training. Maybe you can get a teammate to put pressure on you, play it off the wall, receive it with him on your back, and practice making sure he doesn't get it. Practice being able to be confident in those situations, because especially for that situation, when you're nervous, that's when you start to panic. That's when you lose the ball. And that's a common situation a lot of players get nervous in. So you can practice that over and over again to build up your confidence in that area. Now, there are many other ways to build up your confidence. Visualization and meditation actually are two of those ways that are going to help you. And there are other ways as well, but the one to always start with is practice, repetition. I will link a video down below of a TEDx talk. It's my favorite one by a coach who talks about the power of self-confidence and how to develop it. He'll go into this repetition thing much more in depth. So check that out if it's something you're struggling with. All right, guys, question of the day is, what part do you need the most help with that I went over today? So do you need to work on maybe doing some meditation? Do you need to get more practice in? Do you need to just do the breathing technique I gave you when there's a pause in the match to get back, hook yourself back into the match? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all of the support that you guys give me. Truly, I love it. I appreciate it so much. So thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber and making it to the end of this one. As always, I'll have 2 other videos up on screen right now to help you continue to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Links are down in the description, and there'll be some in the comments. And I will see you in the next video.